Hi, hello. Little music for you there. Here's Michael Leander, and today I'm actually in my kitchen of all places. But it's a good place to be in my kitchen today because I've just spent a couple of hours with somebody extremely interesting. Somebody who has proven on numerous occasions that he can think outside the box. In fact, he's the co-author of a very interesting book that we'll speak about in a moment. He is a New Zealander, imagine, living in the kingdom of Denmark. His name is Jonathan Winch. And I've asked him to answer some of the questions that you're dying to know the answers to. Okay, you just cut it. Hey Jonathan.
Hi there.
Jonathan, first of all, could you tell us who you are, what your background is, and what you do currently?
Right, well, I've got an agency today in Copenhagen, right in the center of the city, and we are three partners in that communications agency. It's really focused on a particular activity. What we do is we help knowledge-intensive, knowledge-heavy companies to become perceived as thought leaders in their industries, experts in their industries. And for that reason, we've actually written a book around the subject. It's called The Death of Propaganda.
Wow.
And this is all about the changes that have happened in B2B buyer behavior and how our clients and B2B companies around the world need to change their approach to those markets to correspond to those buying behavior changes.
So what are some of those behavior changes in the B2B market space?
Well, essentially, the book puts forward three voices. And one of those voices is the voice of company, which is the voice of people companies use today to communicate. And this is very much speaking with their own persona about how good their products are, what their products can do, the benefits, and so on and so forth. Sort of that pushy salesperson type of approach. And that's what most people are doing. 95% of B2B companies are still based in this kind of propaganda-like, pushy salesperson approach to marketing. And so that's one voice, voice of company. Where the action is, though, is over in voice of customer. And voice of customer is what we're describing as this area where people are talking together about products and services that are available and making recommendations to each other, saying this solution works really well from this company. And here is where the people are trying to create their shortlist. Okay, so it's all about making sure that your company is being put on the shortlist because people are talking about your company and its products in a favorable light, and they're recommending it to each other. And the third voice was the one that made it possible, which is really voice of industry. And voice of industry is your company abandoning or reducing the amount of propaganda-like communications and speaking with the voice of a customer advocate. So talking at industry level about industry matters. You've seen it before. It's like 10 things that you should think about when you are choosing a particular solution. It might be a survey, a report, a white paper, not pushing your products and services, but talking about general things that can help customers make decisions. And that's the sort of goal, that's the content that people pick up and recommend to their peers. And that's what gives you a presence on the shortlist within this voice of customer arena. That's what the book's about.
So the three voices strategy is what it's about, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. And what are the outcomes? Let's say a company wanted to apply that strategy. What type of outcome could some companies expect to gain?
Well, we're kind of focused on a bunch of things. One of them is searchability, that you must get your company on the shortlist. And by appearing as a knowledge leader, a thought leader out there, you will automatically get a place on the shortlist. We want to make sure also that you're providing the kind of content that search engines like Google like, so that you come up onto the first page of search, which is absolutely the place things start for many people in their buying decisions. We want to make sure that you're not just pushed away by people when they come to your website, because maybe the truths that they learned about your company when they were in the voice of customer sphere, talking to their peers, maybe those truths don't at all equate to what you're telling them when they hit your website. And so we don't want to disconnect there. So you want to make sure that your website is more of a degree of honesty, if you like, but a degree of more helpful approach to the way it does its marketing. So we go in and recommend that the brand needs some adjustment, the voice of company. So you very much become much more of a helpful presence in someone's buying decision. And we say that over on the voice of customer side, we help you to figure out how to listen to what's going on and when to respond to what's going on. And then we're also helping companies to build these voice of industry sites, which may be owned as owned media, so they actually own the site and they can watch and direct all the traffic that's on it. Or maybe it's paid, that is to say you're on someone else's voice of industry site and you're paying for it. Or one of the best ones, earned, where you are actually creating content that is so good and so helpful that it earns a place on other people's voice of industry style sites. So the outcomes of that should be being on the short list, moving from being a salesperson type that's not really working these days to becoming more of a customer advocate, and moving from saying how good you are to having other people tell other people how good you are. Those are the major outcomes as we see it. And all of that, of course, should arrive at the end of the day in greater sales, greater visibility, a premium can be paid for your brand because you're seen as being a leader in your industry.
Interesting. So just a last question. Have you built a framework around this to help companies better, know where to start and which processes to go through until they get to those lovely outcomes that you just explained?
Right. Once companies have understood this way of thinking about the task ahead of them, then we have a full kind of a recipe, if you like, from one end to the other of where you need to start developing your three voices strategic framework, the steps you need to take because you need to, for example, an important part of it is the content strategy. What are you going to be communicating to whom, with what frequency, and so on. How are you going to measure what's going on? All of that is actually encased in a full process that we bring to the table once companies have understood what three voices strategic framework can do for them.
Excellent, interesting. Where can people learn more about this?
Well, the book itself here, this may look finished, but it is in the spirit of new times. It is simply a draft version that has been sent out so that we can gather feedback from the community at large, from the business community, to make this the perfect book. So we're 90% there now. In the first quarter of 2012, we expect to be publishing this in larger numbers, the real version that now incorporates feedback from the B2B community. So that'll be the chance, and that will be available for purchase.
And if people want to get a hold of you, what do they do?
Well, they can contact us through our company. The company is I for Image in Copenhagen. Let me just spell that for you. That would be www.for-image.com. And if you can do that, then you're probably intelligent enough to become a client.
Okay, thanks a lot,
Thank
Jonathan.
you. Thanks, Michael.